We have already approached our closing quarter of this show. This is called Chit Chat with Manoj. The host here is Mr. Manoj Singh, who is quite popular as he is the CEO of Caesar Productions. On this fine Saturday morning, Mr. Singh looks into the life of an attorney. And the attorney he has chosen to converse with is the famous Mr. Ramesh Khurana, who is the founder and chief attorney at the Khurana law firm in Gaithersburg, Maryland. Let's have a look.
Welcome to Chit Chat with Manoj. I'm Manoj Singh. Hello, Adab, Namaste. Today we would like to talk about a life of a lawyer. And joining me for this discussion today is our well-known attorney. He has his own TV show right here on GTV, advocate, attorney Ramesh Khurana. Welcome.
Thank you.
So please, let's start with your background. So where did you grow up? When did you come to US? What schools did you go to? And what boards you're certified to practice your law in?
Manoj, first of all, I would like to thank you very much for inviting me to this studio. It's always a pleasure to come back and talk about various issues. Of course, I have been coming on this TV show for the last maybe more than 10 years, 12 years. And again, it's a great pleasure to be interviewed by you.
My pleasure as well.
I come from India and I spent my childhood and I would say younger days in India. Of course, I came to the United States several decades back. And when I was in India, I did my BA in Economics and Political Science. Then I did my Master in English Literature from Kurukshetra University. Then I did my LLB, which is Bachelor in Laws from Punjab University, Chandigarh. And of course, after coming to the United States, if I wanted to be a practicing lawyer, I had to do my Master in Laws. So I went to Howard Law School and I completed my master degree. And after that, the challenge was to pass the bar exam. So first of all, I sat for the DC bar exam, which I passed. And after that, I passed the Maryland State Bar. So at this point, I am admitted to Maryland and DC bars. And I'm also admitted for practice in US District Court of Maryland and DC, then also the Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit and the US Supreme Court.
Oh, very good, very impressive. So let's talk about a little bit personal. So what do you like about this profession, the practice of law? How did you develop the passion for it? And what are the different areas in which you practice within law?
Manoj, I would say that you have used the right term, what kind of passion I have. I'm really passionate about my legal profession. I want to see smile on people's faces. I always say when I see faces smiling around me, I also smile with those people. My major focus of practice is immigration. And in immigration, I deal with business and family law, but my consultation is in H-1Bs, Ls, and J-1s, then of course helping people obtaining their green cards, which is a very cumbersome and tedious process, but I have a good success rate and I see people happy all around. And as I said, I am admitted for practice only to DC and Maryland bar, but immigration is a federal practice area, which entitles me to practice in the entire nation. And I have clients in California, Hawaii, of course, adjacent states like Virginia, and right up to Buffalo and Illinois. Almost in 33 states, I would say.
Very nice, very
Again,
nice.
it's a federal practice area, and it is all through the word of mouth. All through the word of mouth.
Referrals.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So if you are able to obtain successful outcome for your clients, they spread the message, and they are your best advertisers, they are your best public relation people.
Yes.
That doesn't cost you anything.
That's common across the board actually.
Yes.
Even in business, repeat customers are the most good and favorite customers, I mean the business to get from.
And the benefit of having the clients through the referral is they know everything before they call me. They know how much legal fees they have to pay, and they are not worried about the outcomes because they heard from their friends or relatives, and they are simply calling me to introduce themselves and telling their issues. Then, of course, listening to their issues, I decide whether this is something which I can handle. Or, sometimes it may not be a good case, and you have to say sorry that I can't handle it. But if I accept the case, I really put my whole strength in it to
Very
achieve the
good.
better outcome.
So I'll ask you a few more questions.
Sure.
We'll come back to immigration. But before that, what is a day in a life of a lawyer? What is a typical day?
I would say that a person who chooses to be a lawyer needs to be very passionate about his or her quality of life. We cannot all the time think about playing golf or thinking about other entertainment issues. Of course, we need to spend time with our families, which I do. I love to do that. But at the same time, I work really long hours, very long hours. I am even working on weekends, I am working on holidays, and fortunately, my home is very close to my office, just about a 12-minute drive. So whenever I feel like working, I will just go and sit in my office and work. Of course, I have paralegal staff who help me, but at the same time, I am available, I would say 24/7.
Wow.
Yeah, sometimes I tell you, when people want to talk to me for longer time, let's say somebody wants to talk to me for half an hour, 45 minutes, because they have got some complex issues, I would tell them, let's talk in the evening. And once I finish my dinner, usually I finish my dinner, I would say by 7 o'clock, and then I keep 2 hours reserved to talk to my clients.
Very hectic schedule.
That's the way I'm passionate. Again, like you said, how the lawyers think about it, I think most of the lawyers, they are passionate about their businesses. But of course, every lawyer has to make a choice, what he or she would like to do.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's a lot of reading. You have to love reading. I mean, because for the cases next day and even on the day of the case, I agree with you.
You are touching on the right note. I tell you, if you can analyze and spot the issues in that particular case, and I think this is what you can help in winning the game. Because apart from immigration, I do business law as well, and in business law, I write contracts, especially IT companies, and when there are some contractual disputes, so I help them. I do some litigation work as well.
So let's coming back to immigration. Any interesting changes coming in short, sweet, and very easy to understand?
Yeah, unfortunately, recently there was a judgment by the Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court, in the case of United States versus Texas. And this affirmed the judgment of the Court of Appeals of the Fifth Circuit. And this case arose immediately after President Obama announced certain immigration reforms, or he issued an executive order. That was on November 20th, 2014. And in a couple of months, a case was filed in the Texas U.S. District Court, and which went in favor of Texas State. And basically, it granted an injunction against the operative part of the executive order, which were announced by President Obama. And that would have given work permits to more than 5 million people. And these 5 million people would have been the parents of U.S. citizens or green card holders, or it was a kind of expanded DACA program. So unfortunately, Supreme Court was split equally 4-4, and the judgment of the Fifth Circuit was affirmed. Just 9 words, I would say, statement issued by the Supreme Court made all the difference in the lives of the people, and now they are stuck, at least for a couple of years. But remember, this is just about the injunction against the executive order, and still the trial has to come on the merit, but which going to take about 2 years.
Yeah, Obama will be out of office. So
he'll be out of office, but the good thing is Democrats, they all support legislative action. Republicans don't at this point. Let us see what's the outcome of the election and when the new president is installed early next year.
Okay, good. So good follow-up question is that talked about all these people being denied now the visa or the probability of becoming a legal citizen or a immigrant to this country. How do you deal with the human aspects of it? And also you mentioned about the sometimes you have to tell them no, and that they'll be deported, or there's a complex issue here. The family might be divided. A lot of things you read in the news.
Very good question, Manoj. Like you are talking about, one of the issues is deportation, which is called a removal proceeding nowadays. Now, enforcement priorities for the Obama administration, those are totally different. Now, they want to remove only those unlawfully present people who have criminal backgrounds and not those law-abiding people. So, priorities changed. Now, at the same time, there is a good news. Good news is that Obama administration, whatever time is left now, that administration wants to take certain more steps. At this point of time, let us say if somebody has stayed in the United States unlawfully for more than 1 year, and that person is barred from re-entering the United States if this person leaves United States and goes back outside the borders of the United States. But if this person is married to a US citizen, there is a provision for a waiver, and this is called provisional waiver, which is Form 1601A. At this point, this is permitted only for a US citizen. When the extreme hardship is to the US citizen spouses, this is likely to be expanded further. This may be expanded, I think it's around the corner, I would say. So, that's a good news, I said. So, that would permit the spouses of even green card holders or maybe extreme hardship to the children. And once it comes, majority of these 5 million people who have been denied the benefit under DAPA, so-called expanded DAPA, and those parents who are parents of American children or US citizen or green card holders, so they may be benefited under this program.
Okay. As a lawyer, as an attorney, immigration attorney, you know of some real issues. How do you contribute, or what do you do to make so that you're heard on the Hill, or by the Congress or the Senates which are writing the laws, that they are in favor, or they are in favor of the people who have already come here? Are you part of the lobbying group, or do you write directly to them?
Sure. Manoj, I am a member of American Immigration Lawyers Association. It has more than 40,000 members who are the lawyers in the entire United States, and some of them who basically live outside the United States. And this is a very strong body. And then we have an American Immigration Council as well, which is basically part of American Immigration Lawyers Association. And both these organizations put together, all lawyers, of course, they contribute in some ways in terms of imparting education, completing CLEs, and also sending out messages. And this group is so strong, I tell you, whenever the new rule making process has to be adopted by the USCIS or any other federal agencies dealing with the immigration aspects, and this body really put comments. And of course, so we have the strength of 14,000 lawyers who of course do the lobbying work. At the same time, they do litigation work also on behalf of the clients.
Okay. So, only a few minutes left. So I want to ask you the last question, which is again coming back to a toughest case or emotional case you dealt with in immigration, dealing with human aspects of it. How do you're a lawyer, you go by the law, but in the end of the day, you're also a human being. So how do you deal with it?
You know, if I had to talk about any emotional case, I would tell you that there was a young lady who got married to another person who was also on L1 visa. So this lady came on L2 visa, and within a period of about, I would say, 18 months, relationship became sour. and this lady was in trouble, and this lady became the victim of domestic relations. So a complaint was filed, 911 and so forth, and I really helped that lady in obtaining a U visa, which changed the life of this lady. Now she is happily remarried and she has a daughter and enjoying her life.
Thank you so much. There's an organization, you know, often it's talk. I mean, when you talked about this,
U visa
relates to
Right.
that is Asha for Women.
Right,
Does a
right.
lot of work for this.
In fact, I worked with Asha on one of the other cases.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. We are an ardent supporter of
Yes,
Asha.
yes.
So that is it for today. Thank you very much
My
for
pleasure.
coming on the show. I really
pleasure,
appreciate
Manoj.
it. Ramesh, you always support us in our events, in our film festival, in our anything we do, and we really appreciate that. And like I always said in the end, I'll say a quote which is, I think, quite interesting. The minute you read something that you cannot understand, you can almost be sure that it was drawn up by a lawyer. Will Rogers. Thank you all the best. And like I always say, life is short, have fun, and have no regrets.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
Thank you.